Hi there, my name is Zach. I am a guy who loves learning languages. In the past 5 years, I've learned German, Spanish, French, a little bit of Swedish, Italian, Dutch, and Portuguese. Now, a little disclaimer I don't consider myself fluent in any of these languages, but through the time that I have spent learning these languages, I have learned that there's several secrets to successful language learning that I want to share with you. Secret one, you have to practice at least a little bit in the beginning. Now, there are so many voices out there when it comes to language learning, especially voices that claim that you only need immersion. Now, I'm not going to say immersion isn't important because immersion has been a key part of my language learning journey. But I will say, when you get apps like Pimsleur that don't give you any explanations whatsoever as far as grammar and vocabulary go, as a beginner, you're going to feel completely overwhelmed. And I see this struggle a lot with people who are learning languages. They get going and they get to a certain point, but because they don't have a solid foundation of understanding the grammar and vocabulary, they sort of stagnate and they get overwhelmed and they want to quit. I think there's a very simple solution to this. And this solution is making at least translation practice a part of your everyday routine. Now, there's lots of people who will claim that translating is not good and that you're not going to learn the language correctly if you translate. I disagree with this as well. I think there's a balance for everything. There's immersion, which is good, and then there's good old fashioned practice, writing things down, reading books, and taking notes, and then going back and looking at what those words really mean. And you have to keep those things balanced. You can't learn a language with just one method or another. It's best to do it with a combination. What I do is, because I am a college student, I wanted to stop procrastinating on my assignments. So I figured out a simple solution. Whenever I would practice translating between German and Spanish, I would also write down what assignments I still had to do that week. So not only was I getting in my German and Spanish practice in every day, I was also cutting down on the procrastination because whenever I would want to do any of those things, I would end up doing all three because I had linked all those habits together in something I could do every day. Like, for example, at work, when it was slow or during a break and there wasn't anything else to do, I was able to just simply start writing down Spanish and German. It sounds silly to be practicing in an environment like that, but the more you can practice, the better your foundation for your later immersion is going to be. Secret two, this goes along with immersion, but I want to talk about a specific kind of immersion: music. Why is music so important for language learning? Well, think about what you remember in school, or think about the ways that you were taught to remember things. I bet a lot of you learn things through the form of songs. Now, music is a very effective way to remember anything because music is often predictable with a melody, a beat, and rhythm. Those three things are crucial in language learning, actually. You may be familiar with nursery rhymes in foreign languages and how those can help you learn certain phrases for children, but why stop there? Why not listen to popular music in a foreign language as well? And I want to talk about something that a lot of people bring up as a reason they don't want to listen to music in a foreign language. They say they don't understand it. I have never found understanding to be an issue in my experience. In fact, I learned to enjoy the music I was listening to without feeling the need to understand it. One of my favorite songs in German, I will put the link in the description. It's called Nur ein Wort. This is a song I still listen to every day, and I've been listening to it for a few years now. This song is full of idioms. It's basically about a woman who's in love with some other person, and she talks about how quiet he is, or she is. Anyways, towards the end of the song, she talks about wanting to make waves in his quiet or in his still waters. And I was like, what does that even mean? To make waves in someone's still waters. But then I did a little bit of research. I found out that there was an idiom in German which translates to still waters run deep. And basically what this means is that people who seem quiet on the outside are often thinking about many things under the surface, and their thoughts can be very profound, even if they're not sharing them. And then it hit me. I listened to the song again, and I realized throughout the song she's referring to her lover as someone who's very quiet, reserved, maybe even shy, and she wants to make waves in his still waters, which means she wants to be a part of his inner life, and she wants to get to know what's going on inside of his mind. And that was really profound to me, and it served to show what the benefits of combining immersion with practice were, and how good of a medium music can be for language learning. So I encourage you to take the time to listen to music in your target language and to not worry about whether or not you understand it. Just focus on enjoying the music. And the more you do that, understanding will come over time. All right, I want to talk about secret number 3. This secret applies to people who are trying to learn more than one language. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I've been learning German and Spanish, or trying to, I should say, for the past few years. And the way I do this is by translating the two into each other. Now, the reason this is good is because when I started learning Spanish, my German was at a much higher level, and I realized I needed to equal those out so that I can make equal progress in both languages at the same time. And I realized translating them into each other would allow me to fill those gaps, which they eventually got filled. And now I've listened to a lot of music in both languages and I can understand most of what I hear, which is remarkable considering I've only been learning Spanish and German for less than 5 years. Now, you don't have to translate your languages into each other, but this is what has worked for me. I would recommend finding a way, though, where you can learn your target languages at a similar pace so that one doesn't outpace another. If you do this, you'll find that it's a lot easier to not only keep up with both languages, but also find connections between the two as well as differences, which can enhance your understanding of both languages. This is what happened with me when I started learning German and Spanish by translating them into each other. For example, in German, it's common to use the present perfect for talking about the past in spoken German. For example, if I wanted to say, I ate yesterday, in German, you would say something like, Ich habe gestern gegessen, which word for word translates to, I have yesterday eaten, in English, which seems weird, but that's just one of the commonly accepted grammar rules of German that you come to even love over time because of its unique structure from English. And then on the other hand, in Spanish, they are much more prone to use the simple past when talking about specific events that happened in the past. So I could say the same sentence, Yo comí ayer. I ate yesterday. That meaning is basically identical, even though it's using the simple past, while German uses the present perfect. And by translating the two into each other, I learned more of the nuance of both Spanish and German, and it was a very rewarding experience. In conclusion, I want to restate what the 3 secrets were so that you guys can hopefully apply them and be more successful in your language learning journey. The first secret is to practice every day. Make it a habit, even if it's small, because small habits add up over time. Secret 2, listen to music in your target language, and don't worry about trying to understand in the beginning. The more you try to understand, the more you'll get overwhelmed and you'll be more prone to giving up. And the third tip, if you're learning more than one language at a time, find a way to learn those languages together. Link them so that if you want to learn one of them, you'll be learning both of them at the same time. This can be either by translating them into each other or by simply writing translations side by side or listening to both or to listening to music in both languages throughout the day to maintain almost an equal amount of learning. Well, I hope these tips help you guys. They have definitely helped me in the past 5 years in my language learning journey. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. Adios. Tschüss. Ciao. Tot ziens.